Welcome back, MTG Joe here for the Theros Beyond Death early streamer event. Thanks to Wizards of the Coast, we have early access to the new set that's pre-releases this weekend. So there's a lot of cool decks. We've already played Mono Black Devotion. That'll be up on YouTube. Doing as many decks as possible, kind of like half an hour, 45-minute slots. I have about 10 decks I want to get through today. So this next one is a mostly mono white Devotion. So Devotion is basically considering the number of pips you have, or like mana symbols, that gets added up. And then there's payoff cards related to Devotion. So in Mono Black, you have Grey Merchant of Asphodel. In this particular build, we're using Daxos, Blessed by the Sun. So its toughness is equal to your Devotion to white. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield or dies, you gain a life. You have some of the gods, so Heliod. So it's an indestructible enchantment unless your Devotion to white is 5 mana, then it's a creature. Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on target creature or enchantment you control. That's kind of relevant if Heliod's not like alive or animated, you can put counters on it. And then for 2 mana, another creature gains lifelink until end of turn. And then the other payoff card for Devotion that we have is Reverent Hoplite. So when it enters the battlefield, it looks at your Devotion and you get that many 1/1 human soldier creature tokens. So this is a mostly mono white version. I wanted to add just a splash of black for some card advantage. This is best of 1 for the event, but in the sideboard we do have removal options. So to run you through the rest of the deck, Giant Killer is both removal and a creature. Healer Hawk is a lifelink threat that can turn on itself with Heliod. Tithe Taker is to slow down any of your opponent's abilities, but it's also 2 bodies. Daxos is, as I mentioned, is legendary, so we're not playing more than 3. Linden, the Steadfast Queen. Every creature we attack with that's white gains a life, which are all separate instances. So if we have Heliod, if this all gets triggered. Midnight Reaper is to help rebuild our board if our opponent has like board wipes or stuff. A couple Banishing Lights is catch-all removal. Oakhame Ranger, so this is some of the 4 mana hybrid cycle. So it's effectively 2 spells with adventure. We can make 2 1/1 tokens, and then when we cast it as a creature, it single-handedly turns on Heliod, but also we can tap it to serve as an anthem for our team. So this build's more concerned around going wide and smashing into the opponent. Also want to try out the new Elspeth. So this is an all-negative planeswalker with escape, so it means you can cast it once it dies from your graveyard. So for -1 up to 2 target creatures, each gain +2/+1 till end of turn. You can create tokens or you can gain life, and then it can be cast from your graveyard for 6 mana and the cost of exiling 4 cards. Sorin also gives all our creatures lifelink, which works well with Heliod. It can ping to also trigger a life gain trigger to put a counter on, and it can also reanimate stuff that dies. Mana base wise, just taking advantage of the life gain. So we have a Castle Locthwain, also some Castle Ardenvales. So all but 1 land in our deck creates white mana. So I want to try it out. We played against a couple mono white decks with our mono black deck and trucked it. So interested in seeing how the little splash of black does. We also, if those were tuning in for the mono black, the server just kind of crashed. But we were playing Justin Parnell and Amir. We ended up winning that game, and while I was getting everything reloaded, played another game against a Teamer Fires deck with the Cavaliers and Orzhov. Was able to win that. So I think we won all 5 or 6 games. I'm going to keep this hand, although Double Heliod's not that great. It's arguably the best card in our deck, and really kind of has all these synergies going. So I'm going to lead with the Healer Hawk. It's evasive, so if they're playing like Mono Black, pretty much all their stuff. Oh, we're playing Thrick-6. So here I'm just going to attack in. Just play out Giant Killer. Play that tapped. We don't get the front height value, and this is a green deck. Okay, so this is Enchant Land. Whenever Enchanted Land is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional green, and then you can sacrifice it for a wolf. Here, I kind of like Linden this turn, because then it can attack next turn, and then we get more triggers from Heliod. Heliod would only put a trigger on Healer Hawk right now, while next turn it gets a lot bigger. So this is, you may play an additional land each turn, and then they have every basic land type, so they can tap for whatever color. That's actually a nice follow-up. So I'm going to put one here, and then the rest on Healer Hawk because it's evasive. It also kind of, this is just to keep this alive, but this incentivizes them to either deal with the Healer Hawk or deal with the Linden. Either work well in this case for us. Ethereal Absolution doesn't do too much against us. So here, I kind of don't want Linden to die. So put 5 on Linden. Don't really care about the Giant Killer. Kind of stuck on lands, but it is what it is. Again, just making Healer Hawk the one that can one-shot them. So this looks like it is Abzan enchantments. They don't have something to deal with Healer Hawk, they're dead. I'm gonna keep the Nars or the Elspeth. Actually, I should have probably played the Elspeth main just because if they can turn off Devotion here. If they have a removal spell. They can also exile with Ethereal to get a blocker this turn. Let's just do it like this. We also have 46 life. That keeps him alive for a turn. Yeah, and they can't multi-block on Linden, otherwise they're dead. Just evasive is better here. And just continue going wide here. Why didn't it create the tokens? That might be bugged. Should have made the tokens there for us. It's actually funny, we haven't lost the game yet. So no black cards were seen that game. Just a really aggressive start. Opponent kind of dirtled. Didn't do much. Playing Preddy. Opponent goes first, so we'll see what we're up against. They'll probably go Giant Killer on 1, Temple on 2. Just get a threat down first. This could be a number of decks. It's part of the fun. Okay, Leafkin, so it's some sort of ramp deck. We're at 5 mana, so going wide this game is probably beneficial. Heliod getting turned on, but I do want something if they have Orvo or just the way to deal with it. Okay, that's gonna get Banishing Light, I think. If they go Cavalier, we're probably still okay. Let's get Heliod going. So this game we're not as aggressive. We don't have the Healer Hawk. Healer Hawk's probably the best one drop for us. Okay, second Risen Reef. So they're getting a lot of mana. Oh, this might be the Nyxborn Elemental, like, triples all your mana, mass manipulation deck. Well, triple Risen Reef. Where's our Deputy of Detention? I'm not too worried because we have Hoplite. Do I want to just Banishing Light here? Probably not. I'm just gonna tap something down. Our devotion's also not that high. I'm just doing this so I can hold up Giant Killer this turn. Nisa's kind of gross. Kind of gross. Too slow this game. Orvo. That's fine. Assume the opponent has just infinite mana. I'm going to tap down the breeding pool if they don't play a bigger threat out. Or I may just take 3. Let's see how they go. They don't have enough to escape Orvo back. Just do this. Okay, that's actually not terrible. This also lets us tap down as well, but right now we need to get Nisa off the board until they just naturally draw another Nisa. Our devotion is 3 right now. Just gonna take the damage here. Mostly because if that's a Hydrate Crisis, this is bad. They'll basically refill their hand here. Yeah, Crisis 14. Seems good. This is why we have Giant Killer in the deck. Can also Linden as well. Let's just get you out of the way. So Heliod's active. I can Giant Killer this out of the way and attack for 5. But I think I just want to play defense. Oh shit. We dead. We dead. Yeah, too far behind on that one. We took too long to actually generate a game plan. We'll run one more, just give Arena a quick reset. The server's kind of slow. Everybody's trying to use this VIP server for the early access. So I'm going to be doing, now that we have the new set out, once I'm on my actual profile, hopefully this weekend, start up the budget build series. I'm going to start off with Mono Black Devotion. There's a lot of good powerful threats in there at relatively low wildcard cost. If there are other budget decks you'd like to see, do let me know. Oh, we're playing Justin Farnell again. He was on Mono Black Devotion. This hand's probably fine. We do need to hit some lands, but it can get us there. We're on the draw as well. I want to see how good these Oakhame Rangers are. Just making a bunch of bodies. And then serving as an anthem. Come on, Arena. We'll keep. We effectively have 2 draw steps to hit a 3rd land. And then Daxos has the upside of gaining us life. Banishing Light will be a good catch-all removal. Okay, so looks like he might have switched decks up. We hit our land, which is nice. I'm just going to go lead Godless here. Ooh. Athemia. So I'm going to play out the Daxos, and I'll let you know what Athemia does. So Athemia is at the beginning of your end step, you may exile an enchantment card from your graveyard. If you do, you create a 2/2 zombie. So this looks like an Enchantress build. It's actually a very good draw for us. I am going to get rid of the Cetacean Champion. It draws cards and gets very large. We can take another 2 points in the air. This also helps with our devotion. I'm not too worried about 2 points a turn. Like, just this alone gains us 2 more life. If we want to do that next turn. So this card seems super powerful. So you create a 1/1 white human soldier token. You put 3 1/1 counters. So here I'm actually just going to Banishing Light the first Ironian games. I don't really want to deal with taking 4 and giving them card draw. And am I cool taking 1 to hit them for 2? Probably. Obviously need to hit a land drop. Our hand gets a lot better. Actually, we can turn on Heliod next turn, so I'm just going to drop Heliod. That's not good. They get the Cetacean Champion back. And I think we're pretty much dead. Non-creature spells cost more to cast next turn for us. Tyramet also does a really nice job with Athemia to fill the graveyard. Yeah, so they hit an enchantment, another First Erroneous. So this is put the top 3 cards of your library into the graveyard. Then you may exile an enchantment, create a zombie. And then its 3rd chapter is you gain X and your opponent loses X, where X is the number of zombies you control. problem too is this turns Oakhame more expensive. What's the third? Return target creature or planeswalker you control from your graveyard. Okay, so they don't have one, so that's fine. Because the thing is, I may want Giant's Killer. You know what, let's just play this out. It turns Heliod on. Let's make Daxos larger. And just play this out. And then put it on that. Okay. Maybe just triple these, just gain a bunch of life every turn. Might be enough to stabilize. Oh, that's good timing. They get Vraska. Vraska kills our Daxos. Turns off Heliod. Really nice synergies with this deck. Oh, they sequenced it. So Vraska, the Elspeth popped off first, but they drew Elspeth or Vraska, so it's fine. They do Banishing Light on They hit Banishing Light. They do. That also turns off Devotion. May be able to grind like a bit. So I think here we control the zombies. Just do that. We're gonna take less damage this way. I think we're dead regardless. The fact we can't turn Heliod on, this puts 3 counters, that's 5 in the air, and we take the drain, yeah. Good game, Justin. Took our first L. A little bit of an awkward draw. Let me just give Arena a quick reset. Noticing it lagging a bit. Okay. Probably run 1 to 2 more White Devotion and then we'll switch up to the next deck. See how it goes from there. I'm excited just to kind of see what other people are brewing. The Mono Black Devotion felt really good. I'm going to be playing so much of that deck. Death's Now or Death Snow? I like to believe Death Snow. Keep this hand. I'm a pretty simple man. Likely draw into our next land. Daxos is just a really good enabler in the deck. Helps with devotion. Sorin also. So really what we want to see here is Heliod. Ooh, Hushbringer. Very nice indeed. So Hushbringer turns off the lifelink. It's kind of a non-bow with a bit of the deck. Like we had it in our first version, but it turns off Hoplite. So I'm just going to ping them. We have a second one, so if they spend attention there, it just gets us further ahead. Okay, so they Prison Realm. Banishing Light is just better than Prison Realm now, so it's not restricted just planeswalkers or creatures. It hits any non-land permanent. We are kind of losing this like race and just in terms of timing. Banishing Light's perfect. So you can imagine if we had a Sorin out here, all these instances of life gain makes our team bigger. And this is why I like the black splash just a bit. It allows us to gain life in other ways. If our creatures do die, we can bring them back with Sorin. Like here they can knock it down 3. But at a certain point they need to consider their life total. Mind you, at this point we're only hitting for 4, 5 a turn, where they're gaining at least 3 back. Oh, they got the second Prison Realm. Question is, do we get rid of Heliod? Or do we get rid of the Hushbringer? I think we get rid of Hushbringer just because in the race right now it's kind of kicking our ass. I've flooded quite a bit, but because we have castles I can just make a token each turn and gain life. And then if Tithe Taker dies, it's an evasive threat. They need 2 devotion to turn Heliod on. See if the opponent has another exile effect. Okay, Dawn of Hope. Pretty interesting card draw mechanic there. Ooh, Hoplite's very nice. First feel for Hoplite, so it's going to gain us 5 life. Make us 5 tokens. Actually 6 life. And that should probably be game 30-6. Okay. Though this might be the Gideon kind of combo-y deck. So this might be more control. Still got a 1/1 and we can make tokens every turn. That looks sweet. Just give us the card draw in case they kill something. So this might be actually like mono white control prison. If we played out Tithe Taker, would have made it so they can't draw a card here. Little unfortunate. They can put it on Heliod. And now we have enough to make a token on end step. Don't mind if Tithe Taker dies. That turns Heliod on. So just make a token. That's pretty nice.
Prepare yourself, Heliod. I have killed one god.
They could just block it with Helio, but I kind of want the flyer. So let's do that. They can make the 1/1 here, but they probably block with Heliod. Unless they don't want it to die. Elspeth was a very good draw there. Now at this point we have 2 1/1 flyers. So we're just going to block like this. Actually, that works out pretty well if you do prison with that board wipe, the shatter this guy, because Heliod, if it's turned on, draws you a card that way. They don't have an answer. We do have lethal. Okay, so they drew the prison realm. It's a tad unfortunate. Now the life gain each turn is going to be probably too much to overcome. So they just managed to stabilize. One point of damage off. Really unfortunate. Johnny, something we need to be mindful of. I can't draw a card. I think this is a little iffy. Do we block? I think we do. I just want to draw a card. If I can get like our other Banishing Light. The problem is our deck doesn't really play removal, and they dealt with both our... Okay, that can gain us some life. The problem is that like they're just beating us at this point. There's too much life gain. That one sucks. We are 1 point of damage off that game. Alright. Mono whites. Not the best when we don't have... I might need to go down the giant killers and go up another way to deal with the gods. Another Banishing Light seems good. Yeah, this sounds good. Healer Hawks with Heliod is basically where we want to be. Reaper can fill our hand. It's kind of awkward. We literally play one land out of the 24 that doesn't tap for white mana. And it's in our opener. Temple of Deceit. Our first blue-black base deck. Okay, so we just want lands here. You are not a land. Godless Shrine is the best draw right now. They tell you that we wanted lands, and now we're just not going to draw lands. I may go Midnight Reaper before Heliod, only because it'll draw us cards. Grixis. Ooh, Croxa. So when it enters the battlefield or attacks, each opponent discards a card, then each opponent who didn't discard an online card. Well, you need lands to order to discard them, so... Hoplite goes bye-bye. Okay, so we got Temple, not the best. We wanted an untapped source. Kind of annoying. Just a weird sequence of line drops. 3 of our 5 come into play tapped for the most part lines. And we had a scry. Rankle. Is this just like Grixis stuff? In this matchup, I don't think they sack, so we discard a card and we draw. Linden's pretty good, but probably gets killed too easy, so let's discard her. Banishing Light's nice. Here, I think we just go Heliod. And just try to race them. Banishing Light come down the next turn, or Sorin. Actually, what I can do next turn is Sorin, bring down, get Linden. Oh, that was a good play. Well, that sucked. This is 5 cards. Let's see if they make us discard here. So I'm actually just going to go Giant Killer here. Next turn we're going to be playing Sorin. It's a little bit weaker if they have another Rankle because it forces the Sorin out of our hand. Or just Davriel. So it's like Grixis, Hand Hate. So I want this just to draw a card. Take this off the table. It will allow him to bring back Kroxa. They need one more card. Temple of Deceit and Temple of Malice are really good additions to Grixis. Really helps smooth out their mana issues. So they Rider here. Rider's on an adventure anyway, so it's not the worst. And I'm doing the card draw on end step, so they can't force us to discard it out of our hand. It's not really what we want. Oh, that's the literal worst card we could have drawn. Even another land just lets us. Because I can't even really play this out. And now I'm taking an extra point of damage. See if they make us discard here. Fenlurker. That ritual really hurt. I think like best draws are either Sorin. It's not the worst. And we got Healer Hawk. So what we can do here, 1, 2, we're 1 land short of being able to give our token lifelink. I don't also want this to go into the graveyard because Kroxa could come back. And then we're dealing with a 6/6 that lightning bolts us each turn. Well, that is also a thing. I think this is pretty much all but over. So even with the black for the card draw, like this game, this has kept us in it a lot more. I think we need more removal in the deck. think we gotta take it. Yeah, we're done here. Let's try one more. I just want to make a quick change. Take out some giant killers. Play Banishing Lights. We need ways to answer. So let's go down to Oakhame. Go up to Banishing Lights. I think that's the best. Okhame's felt pretty lackluster, the games we had it, especially the one we drew 3. 4 mana for 2/1/1s isn't the best rate, even though you get the other body. The fact it does turn on Devotion on its own is pretty good, but that game, I think we needed a exile effect. We were racing Davriel, which was doing a good job of threatening our life total. That ritual hurt though. Gotta play some of that Grixis. 1k needles. Yeah, keep decent curve. So we're gonna go Daxos into Midnight Reaper into I might actually just play Oakhame on the front half. Like on the creature side, because we could go Oakhame, Reverent Hoplite, make just like truckloads. See what they do here. I don't know if this is a flash deck, if it's a ramp deck that just didn't ramp. It's a flash deck. So next turn, getting Tithe Taker down will be actually really good in this matchup. Ooh. Nyx Lotus. So choose a color, add to that mana equal to your devotion to that color. So really just want to set up. So this might be the mass manipulation deck with Thassa to steal all your stuff. So I think going wide will be relevant in this matchup. Okay, so they have Gadwick. Good devotion enabler. That's actually pretty sweet. That can also let us tap the Gadwick. I'm going to offer the trade here. Oh, I forgot this taps. So they did have 3 mana open. Oh, they might not realize Brazen Borer gets shut off by Tithe Taker here. So they petty theft. That's fine. Tithe Taker's already pulled its weight. Them just not being able to put a 3/1 flyer into play. So it's just mass manipulation. Steal our board. Yep. That's not the best. Oh, same play. 4-drop into 1-drop. This at least can deal with these Brazen Borers, but this can also pump. can't imagine they're playing more than 3 Mass Manipulations in this deck. Hydroid Crisis is probably something of concern. Yeah. You know what the weenie aggro deck's not good against? A bunch of flyers. Alright. This deck's been so-so. Sucks against the big mana decks and can have a hard time against board wipes. Mono black was much better from our playtesting. So I'm going to wrap this one up. Going to take a 5-10 minute break, and then we'll be back with Sultai, Self-Mill, Escape with Orvo, Pelucranos, and some fun ones. So thanks for tuning in. I'll put everything up on YouTube if you missed any of the replay.